I watched the series finale of Euphoria, and I have so many thoughts about the season 3. I don't I can't say if I thought it was good or bad, but I will say that I did truly enjoy the series finale. I was kind of deceived at how the whole series developed personally. I still enjoyed season 3. Did I think and find that we had too much Cassie coverage? Yeah, to a point where I was just like, this is kind of just the Sydney Sweeney show at this point. And don't get me wrong, Sydney Sweeney is physically attractive and she is actually a very, very talented actress. Do I think that she needs to be in every single project? No, I don't think The Housemaid was a good casting on that part. I loved her in that one movie with what's his face? That guy, I forgot his name. Glenn Powell, sorry. I'm sorry. So yeah, I loved both of them in that movie. I thought it was a really good romantic comedy. But yeah, anyways, so to get back to Euphoria, I really miss when TV shows used to have 22 episodes per season. I kind of did to an extent. I liked the holiday episodes like Christmas and Halloween or whatever, and like Valentine's Day. I don't think those episodes were necessary, to be fair. Like, the show could have had 16 episodes, okay? 18 episodes. Um, but yeah, I miss when TV shows paid writers more or like had more respect for the writer room. And I just feel like with the series finale, you really see that dynamic with Alamo and Bishop and Maddie, and the missed potential on the development of some of the drug lore, whatever, with Lori and whatnot, because we see the chemistry between Maddie and Bishop, and we're like, oh, this was a missed opportunity. I'm not saying they would have ended up together or whatever, but I feel like there could have been more interactions between those characters because it's more interesting. And there are like scenes that were just useless to the development of the season. I love Hunter Schaffner. I think her last name is like Hunter. I think she's beautiful. But in season 3, there was just no use for that character. It was completely pointless. Even the part where she kind of like fucks over Lexi with the painting, like that could have been something else. I enjoyed the part where Cassie ended up on the show with Lexi, and that is still part of the dynamic of the sisters. But yeah, I feel like Joel's character was underutilized. It was kind of pointless. And like, what was the point of her sugar daddy who's married or whatever? I just don't get it. I don't get it personally. Um, yeah, Cassie is an OnlyFans worker, so we get to see like some scenes, which is fine, but it's like too much to a point where it's just like, okay, we get that she has big tits, you know what I mean, and that she's not afraid of portraying Cassie in that way. Like, we get it. Even Nate's character was underutilized. I don't know what was going on behind the scenes with like the acting contracts and stuff like that. And we do have to understand that like in season 3, it is a few years later. So obviously the characters are no longer high school students. So there's a development in that aspect of the show. adult world problems versus teenage world problems. I think it like comes into play with the pandemic and everything. I'm not sure timeline wise or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. To me, there was a lack of development on the character development or like interconnected relationships and even the storyline. It just like it felt like there were missing parts of the season. But thankfully, the series finale just was great. The whole showdown with Alamo and then like Bishop betraying Alamo and Maddie getting freed and Cassie by association being freed from Alamo's manipulation and blackmail. Um it was very interesting how they portrayed Alamo, and it was obvious that he was going to cheat because of what he did with the cards and like the exchange with Cassie and Nate and all that, because he cheated at that point. So he had character flaws. Obviously, he was not a good person. And you can have a terrible past. That doesn't mean you need to become a terrible person because of it. I don't think that like being traumatized early on in your life is an excuse to having terrible behavior in the world. I mean, a lot of people suffer from traumatic events and they choose to take that as an example of what not to be in the world and to not, spread that kind of behavior into the world because there's enough of that and we don't want that anymore. Um, what else? Nate's character development for me was just like, huh? It didn't make much sense. I was expecting Nate to explode at one point because in no way, shape, or form have we seen him gone to therapy. Okay, we haven't seen him go to therapy. He was very violent in season 1 and 2. He was very abusive, very unhinged, unstable, suffering through a lot, probably closeted homosexual, if we're being quite honest. Like, I'm just saying. And the fact that he didn't fight back, or there was this like underlying, maybe he had a drinking problem, he was very content with this lifestyle, he was delusional about it. Maybe that's why he didn't want to sell the house, he didn't want to admit defeat. He was delusional in the fact that he was going to find a solution, or like, okay, he was given into the idea of Cassie doing OnlyFans when he was obviously against it in the beginning. So it's like a mix of things. It's just like, okay, so this is very interesting, but I don't know. Psychologically speaking, I'm just like trying to analyze the characters and try to make sense of it. I would have liked to see violent Nate. Not that it's good, but it just did, to me, it did not, the continuity of the characters in that part didn't make sense. Zendaya did such a raw, beautiful, touching portrayal of Rue Bennett. And for me to have someone that I've known and cared for who suffered from addiction, that episode specifically was very triggering for me. So, like, when Rue dies, I sobbed. I, like, ugly sobbed for so long. For, like, at least an hour. Like, I was crying about it. And I was just devastated by her dying. And on one part, like, yes, she was an addict for the most part of her life, but also Alamo did give her laced product. The pill bottle was still full. She wasn't trying to relapse. She was very much in pain, and she didn't say no to the pills, but she also was kind of reluctant. And yeah, her dying like that, it was very, very touching. It was very sad. Um, the girl on the farm being emotional about it was kind of like, you met her once. I don't know. But yeah, overall, I'm like, okay, I guess it's the end of a chapter.